Hi friends, I have made a few previous videos on Maharaja Ranjit Singh and the Sikh kingdom. But I guess there is so much to talk about the man that I wanted to make a special video on his contribution to India's present geography. Okay, and why he is so important even today, even after almost more than 150 years after his death, and long after the Sikh kingdom got dismantled, and why he plays such a crucial role in shaping up of modern India. The first and foremost point that one must needs to understand is that a very strong Punjab kingdom in the north enabled that the East India Company could not conquer Punjab for a very long time. By the time it finally managed to conquer Punjab in 1840s, a few years later there was the revolt of 1857, and after which the Rhine passed on to the British government. So the kind of rampant loot that was witnessed in most other parts of India where East India Company was present did not have that kind of effect over northwestern India, especially the Punjab areas. Okay. The second part is that had there not been a established powerful Sikh kingdom here, it is very likely that the Afghans would have probably conquered this area. The Islamization of this region had been happening for many centuries, and of course, it is the Sikhs which stopped it, and under Maharaja Ranjit Singh, extraordinarily, the power completely went into the Sikh hands. Therefore, the Hindus and Sikhs were able to flourish till the British rule came around. And when time came to partition the country, they were in a significant population that they were able to get the partition of Punjab done. You would recall that one of the biggest points where Muhammad Ali Jinnah kept arguing was that the whole of Punjab, which means modern day Punjab, Haryana, and Himachal Pradesh of India, of current India, should go to Pakistan only. But since the Sikhs and the Hindus were also almost in an equal population, they were able to make sure that Punjab was partitioned and all of this portion came to India. Probably, had it not been for the Sikh kingdom, most of this region would have been completely converted. And if then the partition of India would have happened, all of this region, and I mind you, it's not just Punjab but also Himachal and Haryana, would have gone to what is today Pakistan. Thirdly, please recall that in my some of my previous videos I've spoken about this, that Kashmir had long been conquered by the Afghan rulers. Slowly and slowly, the Islamization had happened over the last 500 odd years, and it is under Maharaja Ranjit Singh with his Sikhs and his Dogras that they wrested control out of the Afghan Muslim rulers and established the Sikh slash Dogra supremacy there. It is because of that and post fall of the Sikh kingdom, the what do you call, the kingdom of Kashmir became came under the Dogra king Gulab Singh, and then at the time of partition, JNK was under the king Maharaja Hari Singh, and therefore he had agreed to annex to India. So, had it not been for the Sikh kingdom, who knows what would have been the demography of JNK. not just Jammu and Kashmir. It is the Sikhs that fought the Tibetan Chinese army in Ladakh and ensured that region remains in India. So, again, when you look at Ladakh, you must recall that it is the Sikhs that ensured that that is with India today. And then, of course, let's look at Afghanistan for once. First and foremost, since Ghazni and Gauri, there had been invasions from across the Khyber, from Afghanistan, from Central Asia into India. The only instance where Indians crossed over the Khyber and went on to conquer and defeat the Pathans, and not just defeat them, rule over them, large parts of their kingdom, was because of Maharaja Ranjit Singh. It was the Sikhs that were able to subdue the Pathans. Never before in history and never after, Alexander could not manage these Afghan tribes. So could not the Russians in modern day, nor the Americans. So the, it is attributable to Indians that knew how to control them, to rule over them. It was the instance where India could avenge, in a manner, if you want to call it, what Ghazni had done to India. But most importantly, India did, when the Sikhs conquered Afghanistan, they did not went around rampaging and looting like what Ghazni did to India. Today, as India expands its global footprint, India shows that Indians do not go around looting and plundering. Finally, let me add one simple point. If you look at the kingdom of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, starting from Sindh to Kashmir to Afghan areas, all the way to what is modern day Punjab and Haryana, you see that the majority of his subjects were Muslim. Sikhs were a very small minority. And yet, you do not hear of mass scale persecution of any of his subjects, of any community. You even see that most of his subjects liked him. You see, today when you read medieval history, many Indian scholars like to say, look, those times were like that. You know, when Muslim kings came from outside came to India, they destroyed temples because that is how medieval kings are supposed to behave. All medieval kings behaved like that. They persecuted, they looted temples, they devastated. Maharaja Ranjit Singh stands as a symbol of a person who ruled over large tracts of North India where the majority population was Muslim. But you do not find stories of him devastating any religious structure or persecuting any religion. That I would like to call is a single biggest legacy. The fact that he did not persecute any community. In fact, as you know, of his, or you can say, religious open mindedness, or whatever you to call it, everyone knows that he put, the gold covering on the golden temple. But it is also said, though not completely sure in any confirmed accounts, that he left the Kohinoor to the Jagannath temple in his will. But the British, of course, tricked his son and took it for the Queen of England. That is typical Indian, what do you want to call it? Open mindedness, secularism. And that is what I would say is his biggest legacy, because it shows that Indian kings have never gone around having rigid religious beliefs, and they have not gone around thinking in terms of closed views on religion. Thank you. I hope you are able to appreciate him. If you want to read further, I would suggest one of the great books would be, of course, The Sikh History by Khushwant Singh, as a great read. It is much more comprehensive and detailed, though it's not specifically about Maharaja Ranjit Singh, because that is one book that gives you also a picture of the times along with the man. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.